Welcome to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, creator of the Holy Girl Habits, wife and mama, and certified life and leadership coach who turned away from corporate life to embrace kingdom leadership. This podcast is for Christian women feeling the weight of their divine callings, grappling with doubts of their leadership abilities, and searching tirelessly for biblically grounded guidance who want to step confidently into their roles as radiant kingdom leaders. Inside, we're going to traverse from those feelings of uncertainty and overwhelming searches, moving toward firm biblical leadership, empowering you to steward your gifts, and showing you that you indeed have what it takes. So, sister, grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's dive in together. Welcome back to the Milk and Honey podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, and I am excited today because this week we're really going to focus on conflict resolution and mentorship, which I think are very important, right? So really focusing on relationships. And so today I actually want to focus on conflict resolution with grace and wisdom, and how do we handle conflict as Christian leaders. So first and foremost is we actually have to recognize that there is conflict, right? The reality is there's going to be conflict as you are leading a business, as you are leading a team. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be people who don't necessarily understand what it is that you're talking about, people who misinterpret what you say, people whose feelings are hurt, right? Because they have their own ideas. Like, the conflict is going to come up. And this idea that solely because we are Christians, there won't be conflict in our businesses or anything like that is a farce. And so we have to, as leaders, be on constant lookout for potential conflict and then handling conflict, right? So I love Romans 12:18. And I've got the NIV in front of me. It says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone, right? So it's your job as a leader is to make sure there is peace. And peace does not necessarily mean everybody is like holding hands and singing Kumbaya, right? Peace, and the way that the word peacemaker, right, is actually used in the Bible. This is a big misinterpretation, but it is to reconcile with God, to be at peace with God, to live in harmony with God. It's not about necessarily us like holding hands and singing Kumbaya around a campfire. It is about us living in harmony with the Creator. That's peace. And so it is your job to, as a Christian leader, to ensure that there is peace, that you are guiding and directing the business and the people that you are leading in harmony with the Creator. Okay. How do you respond to conflict? Reaction versus response is something I want to talk about really quick. So how often are we listening to respond, right? I spent a ton of time talking about active listening last week. And so we have to not react impulsively. It's really hard to do. But I've got some scriptures here for you. You know me, I love them. Proverbs 15:1 says, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And then James 1:19 says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And so it is really important as leaders, when conflict arises, that we are slow to anger. We listen, right? We're slow to respond. And that doesn't mean we don't take action. It just means that we don't go with the first thought. Something we teach in Radiant Leadership Academy, which you should come and do. It's a 16-week biblical leadership program, and the next one actually starts in August. So come and take it with me. I teach a 16-week ICF accredited biblical leadership program. And something we talk about a lot is conflict resolution and second thought theory, right? And so I go into depth in what second thought theory is there, but really it's about just not responding with the first thing that comes to your brain cabin, right? And so the way we do that is to look for understanding and empathy. It's about understanding the other party's perspective and really trying to understand what it is that they are trying to articulate. What is their heart posture behind the thing that they're trying to articulate, right? That's a big thing. So Philippians 2:4 says, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others. And then Proverbs 18 2 says, fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. So it's really important that as a leader, we are using Christ-like empathy and understanding when dealing with conflict. And then you've got to forgive, right? Once we've sought to understand and we've come up with a solution, forgiveness. And this needs to be instantaneous forgiveness, instantaneous reconciliation, because you do not want to harbor this. You do not want to hold on to it. Okay? And then finally, when you're dealing with conflict, right? I want you turn to James 1:5. I love this. It says, if any of ye lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who give to all men liberally and upbraideth not, right? Which basically means that God will provide wisdom if you ask for it. And so I want you to pray and ask for God's wisdom and guidance in dealing with your conflict resolution, okay? When conflicts arise, turn to God, right? Ask for God's wisdom, ask for his guidance, right? Lead with humility, lead with understanding, lead with empathy, because this is going to be a game changer for your leadership. The way you respond to conflict, because like I said, conflict will arise and we cannot avoid it. Okay, so conflict will arise, but the way that you respond to the conflict is something people will remember. This is something my husband deals with all the time. He's in a leadership role with his fraternity, right? And so they had some conflict, and people don't necessarily remember the words that was said during the conflict, right? But they remember the way that the leadership handled the conflict and the way that made them feel about the conflict. And so it's your job as a leader to manage conflict in a biblical way so that everybody leaves feeling closer to God and with peace in their heart. That's really the goal, right? Is to understand one another and lead with peace, right? And understanding and love and humility and empathy. It is not so our voices can be the loudest one and the one that is heard and understood, right? We need to seek understanding for everybody. And that's your job as a leader. So I want you this week to just think about any conflicts, right? Or any difficult conversations or things that need to happen in your life as a leader and how you can approach it with grace and humility and love and empathy and understanding and handle conflict in a way that honors the Lord. So I will see you on Wednesday, where we're actually going to be talking about mentorship and empowering the next generation of leaders and talking about the role of mentorship in your leadership. So I'm excited to dive in with that with you, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I am so grateful you were here. I hope this episode has helped you move from feelings of doubt and uncertainty towards stepping confidently into your God-given leadership role, fully equipped with biblical wisdom. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach and inspire more Christian women leaders just like you. Don't forget to share your takeaways, post it on Instagram, tag me anywhere you're on social media, and I'll see you next week.